The average millionaire goes bankrupt twice. Is that crazy? The average broke person spends their life scrimping and saving and never getting ahead. Wow, so what's the difference there? We're going to talk about that today because I spent 20 years working with millionaires and billionaires, and it wasn't what they did. It was something else that put them in the driver's seat. And I'm going to share that with you right now. Let's go. Welcome to Landrianka on digitalexplorers.net here on YouTube. And you might be watching this off of an email. Why do millionaires go bankrupt twice? They're taking risks. Maybe too many. I don't know. It's personal opinion. What are the consequences of that? Well, you start over again. But the average person is petrified of doing that. They're petrified of having their credit dinged or risking money. But the bottom line is the reason why millionaires go bankrupt is because it actually restores them back to the capabilities to start over again, right? They don't start with debt when they go bankrupt. They are taking a company and taking it out, getting rid of the debt, handling it. Yeah, it's a little messy, very uncomfortable, but then they have a new start. Everyone else out there, we have been told to scrape and save our entire lives so that we'll have money for when we retire, and then we can put ourselves in nursing homes. That's insane. And I know people that have never even left this country. I lived overseas for a few years. I was privileged to do that, but I'm a risk taker. Yeah, and it gets a little uncomfortable, but I'm living a fulfilling life. Sometimes it's scary, but you know what's more scary to me? Not living up to my potential. And so I go after things that are a little out there. And I don't always get them, but most of the time I do. Why? Because everybody else is petrified to go after it. They think I'm not qualified, or, oh, there's too many people applying for this. And I'm thinking, well, good. Bye-bye, because you just raised my odds. That's how millionaires think. So what are you struggling with right now that you're wondering, how can you change it? Well, if you are putting value on money as something that you have to hang on to, you're not an entrepreneur. Money is something we use in order to get to the next place where we can grow it and expand it in a way that is not safe. It's never going to be safe. So if you are what you believe you're an entrepreneur, and that scares you, what I just said, you're actually not an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs will take the risk. That's how they achieve success. You know, the difference between millionaires and everybody else is not what the millionaires do, it's how they do it. They take care of one another. They utilize their relationships. They utilize collaboration, partnerships, and they think so differently than the average person. They don't hang on to money, but they do it with thought and planning, strategies, because if you don't spend it, you can't earn it. And people will say we have to have money to get money. And, well, that's just not true online. Yeah, of course you want to earn money, but the most successful people turn that money back around and reinvest in their companies. And most people are petrified to do that because the first thing they ask themselves is, what if I lose it? And I say, well, then if you're afraid of that, then don't go launch a company. Go work for somebody for the rest of your life. And if you're happy with that, that isn't a bad way to live. You'll have that security. You may not be happy, you may not go after your dreams, but sometimes people just aren't suited for that, well suited for that. The entrepreneurs that I worked with, the millionaires and billionaires, they went for it. They didn't think twice about it. They calculated their risks. They went after things, and most of the stuff that they did failed. But then there was a big percentage that didn't. And the ones that didn't, they more than made up for the failures. You see, we think somehow that they're not failing. They actually fail more than the average person out there because they do take the risks. And it may sound a little scary to you, I mean, it's very uncomfortable for me because I know that when I take these risks that there's no guarantee that I'm going to be successful. All I can do is look at my statistics, my analytics, and say, is this working? Am I doing something there's a market for? Do people like it? What are the responses? And you will always have that information online, because the beauty of being online is you get all the analytics and the answers that you need to find out what the response is to your business, right? Are you ready for this? Are you ready to take some chances? Because I've got some students that took some big chances and spent money for my training that they really couldn't afford, and it's changed their lives. They have shifted their thinking because now they're in it. They're committed, and that's a mind shift. You see, when I committed to my training and the things that I've put my money into, I realized I have to make this work. So it was never about the other person or the training. It was about me. I had to be committed, and I knew that I was not going to stop until I achieved success. That's what millionaires do. That's what true entrepreneurs do. So they commit, and they find the way, and they find the answers, and they find the mentors, and they get the training, and they implement their ideas. And if it doesn't work, they change it until it works. And that's where success comes into play, because you can achieve it. And that's just the truth of any business. It's never going to be perfect. It is a learning curve, and you're going to either love it, and you're going to love the excitement of it, or you're going to say, I can't sleep at night and I can't take it anymore. And so that's the person who needs to go get a steady paying job. It's your decision. I know one thing. There's no way I could live like that. And once you step out of that world of working for somebody else, you're literally unemployable. You literally can't work for somebody unless you're a contractor and you're doing something you love for a company. I do contract my services out, and I love the businesses that I consult. That's amazing. But I'm still self-employed, and I pick and choose. And that's the freedom of being an entrepreneur. So you have to decide. Are you the risk taker? If not, do you need to reframe your thinking to go into that space? Because that's what's going to take you into the entrepreneurial space, where you're going to learn, you're going to commit, and you're going to keep going until that return on your investment is there. And if you have the right people surrounding you, they're going to help you avoid the mistakes that most people experience because they've been down that road themselves. So never get trained by somebody who has not done what you want to achieve. All right? Now, I'm not talking about dollar amounts. I'm talking about success. Have they been successful in their business? Have they accomplished their goals? Are they profitable? Are they doing things in a manner that you would like to? Benefiting the planet, other people, you? This has to be a personal journey for you. So millionaires, it's not always what they're doing. It's how they do it. They have a mind shift unlike anybody else out there. And they sort of snicker when they see people hanging on to their money, trying to get those stocks, and then every few years portfolios tank. As all of my friends told me, they really can't afford to retire. And they're concerned because if they live long, what are they going to do? And there's no going back on that. What are you going to do? So if you are entrepreneurial, you know that I have the 5 steps to success online. I've got new courses coming out. I have a fast track to launching an online business successfully with those 5 critical steps. If you're in my email list, you'll learn about, and I'll give you something real special that maybe it's just what you need to step into that world and shift that mindset into what you dream of. Go after it. Don't hold back. I'm living proof it works. See you in the next video.